Right, Shalom Yasharallah. First and foremost, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Bahasham, Rachak, Wadash. Next, double honors to the elder apostles and to the elders of Great Millstone who rule well. Peace and salutations to the hopeful elect that are scattered abroad, even scattered amongst the heathen nations that take on the appearance of the heathen nations, because this is not a black thing. This is also not a religion of this world, but yet this has been given into the congregations of Jacob as an heritage. All right, it is also our religion. Okay, so don't get so tied up on that. All right, pure religion and undefiled. All right, right. And which truly just it goes into worship. And yes, we do worship. We worship Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai. All right, so it is a religion, and it is also much more than that. All right, because it is also our heritage. We are a peculiar people unto the Lord power. All right. His chosen people, all right, which will all be saved in the kingdom. It will be a royal priesthood, a nation, all right, a whole nation of priests. So, hey, just getting to it, all right. It's our heritage, it's our lineage, it's our culture, it's our history, which is no longer mystery, and it is the promises of Israel's future. This is Yahweh Shai Now and Now coming at you real quick. I was over at camp, and Saint Benji, the elder Benji, we were, doing a couple things, setting out a drink or two, whatnot in the back, as far as the juice for the bros, and there was a piece of concrete, it's set aside from the other pieces, set up a little bit higher, so if you're just walking and not looking at it, you would trip on it, and that's what ended up happening. The Benji tripped on it. When he tripped, he fully leaned on me, and when he fully had leaned on me, I was already in a good stance, so I already had enough in order to keep him up, and he held on to me, grabbed onto my shoulder and everything, and it laid all the way down on me, and man, look, man, we was both good, and he said, man, Salakia, brother, and we both had a little chuckle about it. He said, what's your name? And I said, how was I now or not? He said, that's right, brother, because you saved me, man. We had a quick laugh, But at that point in time, I think he could kind of tell. He was like, brother, he goes, no, I know your name. And he must have, probably read me a little bit. But, it was more so that I was, in a spiritual mind. In a spiritual mind, we think about it. It's like we always want to make sure that we're in a position in order to be a help unto a brother and not to be a, because, if my footing wasn't right, we could have both went down, if I wasn't prepared, and that's what I'm saying, even at the end of that mirth, it ends up being a little bit of a heaviness, but at the same time, though, we're going to turn this into a lesson, all right? Because I'm going to bring you through the thoughts of my mind. Let's hit the precepts, all right? Ecclesiastes 4 and Ecclesiastes 4 and 9. It says, 2 are better than 1, because they have a good reward for their labor. For if they fall, the one will lift up his fellow. But woe unto him that is alone when he falleth, for he hath not another to help him up. Again, if 2 lie together, then they have heat. But how can one be warm alone? And if 1 prevail against him, 2 shall withstand him. And a threefold cord is not quickly broken. All right? And, hey, it said it all right there. 2 is better than 1. And if 1 shall miscarry, actually, does it say if 1 miscarry? Or is that another scripture? Salakia, I got to go back and check that really quick. You know what? Bear with me one moment here. Let me search this. So I believe that's another scripture. Ecclesiastes 37 and 12. Let's go here really quick. 37 and 12. reads, but be continually with a godly man, whom thou knowest to keep the commandments of the Lord, whose mind is according to thy mind, and will sorrow with thee if thou shalt miscarry. Okay, so yeah, that was a different scripture. But yeah, we want to be around the men that fear the Lord. Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai, the ones that are upright. It says, mark the perfect man, for the end of that man is peace. All right, wear out the doorposts of the elders, of godly men. So hey, I'm just glad that my footing was appropriate, and in a spiritual sense, I want to make sure that I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing, so that way in a time of need, it says the prayer of the righteous availeth much. Okay, like this, we got to make sure, and I'm talking to myself. All right, got to make sure that we're on P's and Q's and doing the right thing, so that way we can find favor with the Lord, so that way if any brother's miscarrying, man, we'll be able to be there and be a help unto that brother, man, for real. Proverbs 14, it's a quick hit, Proverbs 14 and 10. The heart knoweth his own bitterness, and a stranger doth not intermeddle with his joy. Let me get that in the NLT real quick. Proverbs. Uh-oh. You go back here. Proverbs 4. Come on now. There we go. Proverbs 14 and 10 in the NLT. It reads, each heart knows its own bitterness, and no one else can fully share its joy. So yeah, when the elder had said what he had said, even though it was, we do get to smile a little bit, but we doth scarcely smile a little. I'll get that next. But at the end of that mirth, ended up being a little bit of heaviness. See, I should have read those first. but so once again, each heart knows its own bitterness, and after the mirth happened, I came into the thought process of, man, I didn't do enough reading this week. All right, I should have done more videos this week. All right, I started to think about the things to where it was like I immediately in the spirit was like, man, like what if I wasn't ready? What if the brother needed to lean on me and I wasn't ready? So what's going to happen in these times of peril that are coming? Are you ready? Are you ready? Are you doing the things that you're supposed to be doing? The eyes of the Lord are 10,000 times brighter than the sun, beholding all the ways of men and considering the most secret parts. There is no hiding, so we just got to make sure that we're prepared. We're doing the things that are asked of us. And I know I'm falling short, all right? But it's, hey, but get back up, right? A man of understanding knoweth when he slippeth. All right. Uh-oh. Yeah, I should have put on a do not disturb. Hey, Robert, I'm in the lesson really quick. Can I call you right back? Cool. No worries. I'll call you right back. All right. Thank you. Bye. Slakia. All right. But a man of understanding knoweth when he slippeth. That kind of broke my concentration there. I had another one to back that, but but nonetheless though, just watching out for what we're doing. Let's get back to it. Sirach 21 and 20. Sirach 21, 21st chapter and 20. All right, it reads, a fool lifted up his voice with laughter, but a wise man doth scarce smile a little. And that's what we're surrounded with in the ranks of Great Millstone, okay? When we get to have our laugh, we do get to have our laugh, But we're not no freaking, giggly ass freaking group making mirth of every damn thing. This is serious business around here. Real serious business. Life and death serious business. But when we laugh, man, we have a good laugh. We have a good belly laugh, all right? But when the laugh is done, it's back to business, all right? So we do scarce smile a little, Sirach 19 and 20 and 29. A A man may be known by his look. This is just because it goes with it, you know. A man may be known by his look, and one that hath understanding by his countenance, when thou meetest him. A man's attire and excessive laughter and gait show what he is. All right, like I said, you know, Great Millstone, we about serious business. All right, from the elder apostles on down. But like I said, you know, when we have a good laugh, we have a good laugh, man. All right. Proverbs 25. Proverbs 25 and 19. I believe it is. Yeah. Right here. Confidence. Proverbs 25 and 19. Confidence in an unfaithful man in time of trouble is like a broken tooth and a foot out of joint. All right, that's exactly what I was thinking. I should have leaned off with that one. That's what I was thinking. I was like, if the brother would have leaned it on me, and if I'd be unfaithful, it's like trusting in a man with a broken foot. You know, can't even hold himself up. Right? Let's go to the NLT real quick. Let's go to NLT and just catch that real quick. That's 25. Proverbs 25 and 19. Go to the interlinear and let's get, all right, it's like a tooth broken and a foot out of joint. Confidence in an unfaithful man in time of trouble. We're going to go to the unfaithful man, all right? Confidence in an unfaithful man. To act treacherously, deceitfully, deal treacherously, to act or deal treacherously, faithlessly, deceitfully, or offend. Faithlessly, okay? Do you imagine leaning on a brother that doesn't have the faith? Come on now. You know? So we must have faith, you know? Have faith and continue on in these things that we know. All right? There was one last one that I wanted to get, and what is it? The end of that heaviness, or no, the end of that mirth is heaviness? No. How does it say it? The end of that mirth is heaviness, I believe is how it goes. Proverbs 14. Was I there? Yeah, here we go. Proverbs 14 and 13. All right, and it reads, even in laughter the heart is sorrowful, and the end of that mirth is heaviness. All right. And, you know, Great Millstone, we know, you know what I'm saying, we know where we put our hearts at, which is your labia, your mind, okay, in the Hebrew. We know where it's at. It's in the house of mourning, not in the house of mirth. All right. That's why we do the scarce smile a little. That's why you know us. When you see us, we're able to see what a man is through his excessive laughter and gait. We're not that group. From the elder apostles on down. This is serious business. And even amongst these jokes and even amongst certain things that make us to smile, the end of it does end up being a heaviness, because we judgeth all things. And a spiritual man, as the Great Millstone, all right, as spiritual men, we judge all things, all right, and even take those things into a spiritual matter. And I'm glad that my footing was correct in order to hold the brother up. And I'm glad that I was able to be trusted in that point in time. But I also want to be able to be trusted in much more serious times to come. So, hey, that was just a walk through my mind real quick. All right, hopefully it was edifying. I want to give all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Ruchak Wadash. Next, double honors to the elder apostles and to the elders of Great Millstone who rule well. Peace and salutations to the hopeful elect, all right, that are scattered abroad. And, hey, wa ababa ba, all right? Stay prayed up, and abaratazah until the next time. Shalom.